host, Jess Hugo, and I am so excited to have you here. I'm an online personal trainer and nutritionist, but honestly, underneath it all, I am just a girl who is struggling, thriving, and surviving somehow all at once. So if this is you, you are not alone. If you want all the juicy tea on what it's like to be a girl navigating her 20s, I'm talking relationships, health, fitness, social life, work, and everything in between, then you're in the right place.
We are jumping straight in because I feel like we need to have a really serious fucking chat right now because your gut health's fine. It's just tired of having iced lattes for breakfast every fucking day. Guys, I know I'm being a little bit crazy right now, but we need to talk about this because this is something I've been noticing with not just clients, but friends, family, girls on social media, just everyone in general being so terrified of antibiotics, but they're not doing any of the correct things to actually look after their gut health in the first place. Like genuinely, they would rather be sick for weeks on end than just take some antibiotics. But God forbid they could eat a proper breakfast with some fibre in it. Like, God forbid. We're also like, literally like can't have antibiotics, but I will skip breakfast, not fuel my body properly, live off iced lattes, not eat a single veggie, and just cover that up with a greens powder. Like, don't get me wrong. I love gut health. I talk about it a lot. I love talking about like the bloating, the gut health, the fiber, like trying to really figure out the human brain gut connection. You guys know I've done so many episodes on this, but I feel like we've almost taken that obsession a little bit far. So today we're unpacking the truth about antibiotics, like what they actually do, what you can do when you're in that situation of like, do I take them? Do I not? I need to protect my gut, and like how to stop fear-mongering your own health. Because I have seen girls rather stay sick for 3 to 4 weeks than just take an antibiotic, which just feels bizarre to me because we'll get into it, but like that is such a long amount of time. And I just don't understand why that is a thing. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm a sports nutritionist. So I understand the food, mind, gut connection, but I'm not a doctor. So obviously, everything take with a grain of salt. I'm just having my thoughts and opinions. Obviously, I work with hundreds of women as well. So I see how their body responds, what their fears are, and all the things. So this is very much opinion based. Obviously, I did fucking research, but always ask your GP, always listen to your GP, all of the things. But I've just seen so many people terrified of taking antibiotics and rather be kind of like misunderstanding what antibiotics are about and what they're used for and all of the things rather than just getting educated on it. And I was like, okay, I need to do the podcast episode on this because I think a lot of wellness influencers have started this trend and they always throw around the words gut health and bloating and bloat free and greens powder and this is my de-bloat drink. But like reality is we know we can't rely on these people to give us advice. Like let's take it back to apple cider vinegar, the documentary on Netflix with Belle Gibson, the Australian woman who said that she had cancer and she was curing it through whole foods, seeds, grains, fruits, veg. And don't get me wrong, like when we are sick, that is the way to go, but it doesn't fucking cure cancer. Like we can't cure things that require, we don't even have a cure in 2025, unfortunately. So we can't cure things that actually have cures, like with medication, with antibiotics, if we're not taking them. We can't just pray to the fucking universe that it gets better. Like, of course, we can go down the route of like, if we just have a common cold, like we're not taking antibiotics, right? We're just going to, pump the micronutrients, have really good whole foods and things like that, of course. But if it's something like, you guys know, I used to like chronically get tonsillitis, like a lot, to the point that my tonsils were so inflamed 24/7. I remember my whole right side of my neck was always inflamed and you could like touch it and it was like sore and like puffy because I had tonsillitis that much. It was just like permanently inflamed. But if I didn't take the antibiotics really, really quickly, I had that tonsillitis for like 2 weeks if I didn't get onto it like instantly, as soon as I felt it kind of like arising internally, because there's always you could always feel it externally. But so I've kind of grown up of like, take the antibiotics, and I didn't really realize this issue. And I feel like this issue of the fear mongering around it all has been really propelled forward through wellness trends. As I said, we like the Belle Gibson situation happened in 2007, 2012. I actually can't remember now, but we believed it all back then, and social media wasn't even that crazy then. Think about how many unqualified people have platforms now, and I don't even want to like get into like naming and shaming, but there's a couple that come to my mind who are always like, yeah, just have some garlic, just have, like, what the fuck? If your doctor is prescribing you antibiotics, it must be serious enough that you need to take them, and you shouldn't be thinking, oh, but then I'm not gonna have a flat stomach. You should be thinking like, fuck, nurse me back to health. And like, I'm gonna be so real with you right now. Someone will literally DM me and say like, I'm scared to take antibiotics, like I'm not taking it, they're gonna ruin my gut health, they're gonna ruin my flat stomach. And then I will like look at their food for the past couple of weeks, and it's McDonald's every single fucking day, never having any structure, iced coffees for breakfast. And I'm like, I actually don't think this antibiotic is your biggest concern right now, because you're not even getting any fiber. You're probably constipated. You're not hitting your food groups. Like, I actually think you can relax and take the antibiotics because your priorities are not in order right now. Why are antibiotics being labeled as this like evil thing that's gonna like fuck up our whole life? Especially because, let's just say, because there's always that chance of like something's not going to agree with you. Like, you run that risk with everything. Sometimes I get some, like, I'll get like a random pastry and I'll get like so bloated. I'm like, well, what the hell is going on? That's just the risk you run when you try like random things and you don't know how they made them and stuff like that. So obviously when you have antibiotics, you do kind of run that risk of, maybe it's not going to agree with me. Maybe it will ruin some of my good bacteria, because obviously we're trying to get rid of the infection and the bad gut bacteria, but maybe it will ruin some of my good bacteria. But like, it's not like you can't fix that with your nutrition. Like, it's not like you can't just gain that back and everything balance out. Maybe it will take a week or two, but you would rather you would rather spend that time period sick than taking the antibiotics and just reworking your gut to health again. Am I making sense? I hope so. But I just think that like there's so many like gut health resets online, greens powders, juice cleansers, detoxes, and I'm like, they don't do anything. My body feels the best when I eat my 3 structured meals a day. My body feels the best when I eat 30 grams of protein per meal. My body feels the best when I am eating whole foods and actually having balance in it. So having lunch with bread so that I have the carbs, having protein. I don't really like sauces, but having sauce, for a fat sauce, or for me, I like to use cheese. Like, that is what we can do to balance out our gut. Like, it's not about, sorry, my nose is running. It's not about this whole, oh, I need to cut everything out and do a whole reset. Like, the trends have gone wild. I'm seeing this girl at the moment. I've been watching them, and she's doing a 14-day gut cleanse, and she's showing us everything she's eating and whatever. And like, sorry, but if I want a chocky on a Tuesday night, like, I'm gonna have one. I could not care less about, oh, my gut health in that situation. I need to stick to my reset. Like, what the hell? Yesterday, actually, this is a perfect example of why these things, they don't work, because they don't fit in our lifestyle. They're not made for lifestyle. Who can commit to a 14-day gut reset? Genuinely, you'd have to be like at home that whole time, take off work. But then when you're at home, take off work, you're bored at home and you're like rampaging and raiding the cupboard. So I don't know, but literally yesterday I had the most deliberating headache. It was insane. I was drinking so much water and I was being so intentional with it. I have so many water bottles, but you might have seen me holding around the extra pumps at the moment. I'm going to hold it up for you because I looked at my analytics. I have a lot of American listeners on here, surprisingly. So you might not know what I'm talking about. Now, every time I talk about something, I've been holding this around. You might have seen, it's the extra pump. If you're on the video, I just showed that. Yeah, I need to show you guys visuals because I'm like, do America have that? I'm not sure, but that's like some of my top listeners. So hello, if you're from America, that is crazy. But I have been holding that around so I can be so intentional with seeing how much I'm drinking, making sure I'm getting enough. Yesterday, I refilled it so many times. I love cold water and we have a cold water fountain. Anytime my mom turns it off, I turn it back on because I'm like, it needs to be freezing and I will drink it. So I'll drink it all. So yesterday I was refilling it so many times. I made sure I was like eating enough, like I was being so intentional, and this headache would not go because sometimes I'll get a headache and it would just be like a split, like it won't last long. I just actually need to have water, and then sometimes I'll have like a full headache. Anyway, I finally gave in and was like, oh, I'm just going to take some Panadol because I like to, not that Panadol's bad, but I like to just see like what's actually going on because sometimes I just get a headache because I'm like, yeah, I haven't eaten enough, I'm dehydrated, and then I can fix it by eating and drinking, you know what I mean? Anyway, it was so bad. I had 4 face-to-face sessions to go into. I was like, I am not going to be able to do this. So I had some Panadol. I walked downstairs, I'm like getting ready to go, and I'm like, oh my God, like I think I'm gonna vomit. I was like, whenever I'm sick, I get like this white ring around my mouth. It's like a telltale sign when I feel sick. And I was like to my partner, do I have a white ring around my mouth? And he was like, no, why? And I was like, I feel so sick. I think I need some sugar. Like, can I take a bite of this Mars bar? Will you eat the rest? Like, because I had to go, but I also did not want the whole thing. I just felt like I wanted like one bite. And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I had it and I was like, oh, I actually feel better. I don't know if that's a placebo, but I actually felt better. And then I was like, imagine if I was on a gut cleanse reset. I would have just ruined the gut cleanse. I would have had to restart. It just does not work with your lifestyle. For times where you might feel a little bit fucking sick, for times you might have a really debilitating, why am I butchering? I just said the word, debilitating headache where you feel like you literally cannot breathe, where you feel like you're literally going to vomit. Like, surely no one's thinking this is a good idea. Like, why is this a trend? And I love the like 10 scoop smoothies of like having this and like a collagen powder and a fucking, I don't even know, some fucking random veggie from Janet's backyard. And I'm like, well, you don't need to do any of that. Like, God forbid you just eat a fucking apple. It's like the thing I hear all the time, like my gut health, my bloating. And then I'm like, cool. Like, do you at least get 1 to 2 pieces of fruit per day? No. Did you know that you're supposed to have at least 2 pieces of fruit a day by like the nutrition standards? No. I don't really like fruit. Oh, okay. Let's just eat an apple. Let's just eat an apple. Like, God forbid we just eat an apple. Like, instead of going and buying the sugary juices that are like $5 a pop on the shelf, how about we just buy an apple for like 60 cents? Be so for real. Like, let's work smarter, not harder. Like, let's not make it 10 layers deep. It doesn't have to be. And it's the same thing with the antibiotics. As I was saying, like, it's there to kill the bad bacteria. If it kills the good bacteria, like, it's not going to kill all of it. But if it kills some, the only way we're going to know is by refueling and making sure we're having nutritious foods and things. And it's like, yes, they can disrupt the whole like gut microbiome. I think that's how you pronounce it. But like, we can always recover. It's the same as everything. Like, how do you think we get over a cold? Anytime my clients say they're sick, I'm like, cool, we're going to rest, we're going to prioritize sleep, and we're going to prioritize fruit and veg and just having whole foods. Yes, it feels so much easier in the moment, especially if you like live alone, for example. You're like, fuck, I'm just going to Uber Eats McDonald's. But where can we get like a soup? Get like an Asian meal, like a Thai or something. So you have like a stir fry that has like the veg and stuff in it. Where can we get something like, yeah, like a chicken noodle soup or something like that, like rather than getting McDonald's that has no nutrition in it, it has nothing going on. Like, honestly, I cannot think of the last time I ate McDonald's. And if I get McDonald's, I'm getting like a fucking Caesar wrap and stuff. But honestly, even then, why are they like $15 when you can go to a Porto and get like their wrap and stuff in a meal for like $15? And there's this like actual real grilled chicken, whereas like Macca's is obviously like frozen and stuff. Like, isn't that criminal? I'm getting off track, but I just think that's criminal. So yeah, the nutrients in that is dog shit. I worked at McDonald's, so I can vouch for it's all fucking frozen. Some of the stuff is like fresh, like the lettuce and stuff like that. But it's like the other day, well, not the other day, because I haven't had, why do I say that? It was not the other day. I literally had it so long ago. But last time I got the chicken wrap, I honestly, maybe 4 months ago, I have not had Mac as much this year. The chicken was so spicy. They gave me the spiciest thing ever. And I was like, did they give me they have like the mixed spicy chicken or something? I don't even know. And I was like, I think they gave me the spicy chicken. But I was literally thinking the other day, I have like, in my area, there's like a certain place that has a certain amount of food, and like they're all like Hungry Jack's, Porto, Macca's, KFC, all in like the one space. But then there's also like literally like the next turn, like Woolies and Aldi and like restaurants. And I'm like, if we're going all the way there, we're going to Woolies or we're going to the restaurants there because it has my fucking favorite Thai ever there. So I'm like, I'm not going to McDonald's. Like, yes, it's convenient if you're in a rush or whatever, but even so, I would, if we had to choose takeout, say it's like really late, everywhere's kind of shut up, like closing up, you don't want to cook or whatever, I'm gonna choose a Porto. If Porto's still closed, then that's when I have to get Macca's. So I understand when you're like on a road trip and stuff, you have to choose Macca's. But actually, I just lied, I did have Macca's on the back end of Melbourne. I was gonna say Melbourne because we road tripped. We actually got Macca's on the last day when we were driving home for like breakfast. All I got though was a chicken McMuffin, like because it was breakfast time. So it was literally just the English muffin, cheese and chicken, which is basically chicken and cheese but on a muffin. Slapped. I didn't get anything else because I don't like hash browns. And then you can get chips, but then you have to get it out of the meal and it's just so annoying. I didn't get anything else. That's all I got. But I'd be strategic. I'm like, cool, that has good protein, good carbs, good fats, done, slay. And I understand when you're like on a road trip and there's like nothing really open but McDonald's, you kind of like have to go that. I'm not stupid in that. Like, I hate when other coaches or whoever influencers are like, oh my God, like you can't have McDonald's, you can't eat this, you can't have that. Like, if you work on the road, if you work long hours, if you're traveling for some reason, you need to have options, and the options there are McDonald's. So what can we do with that? We can be strategic, getting a chicken and cheese, getting a chicken wrap, getting something that is at least somewhat more fulfilling than like a quarter pounder or like some nuggets. You know what I mean? So I know I like went on a tangent. Other than that though, I cannot remember the last time I had Macca's. We didn't have Macca's the whole road trip. We like actually ate good and kind of like not avoided it, but just like were like thinking smarter. So we like went to a restaurant, or not a restaurant, a cafe, sorry, for like breakfast instead of going and getting Macca's and stuff. On the last day, I was like, I'm over it. It was only like highways home type thing, motorways, whatever. And I was like, let's just get Macca's. Let's just get Macca's. And then when we pulled up, there was like a bakery, and I was like, oh, should we go to the bakery instead? But we'd already ordered on the app. Criminal, I know. And the bakery was like popping off, and then the drive-thru was so fucking quick. Anyway, sorry, but that's just my life. Anyway, so yeah, it can disrupt it, but like your gut can always recover as long as you're actually eating the correct foods. And literally, so I was researching on this. All the studies were saying that you start kind of like bouncing back with your gut health within weeks, maximum month. So like that's pretty quick. If you're delaying, what I was saying before, if you're delaying taking something for that long, you could have just turned over and had your gut health back to normal within that time. I honestly think the worst thing from antibiotics is fucking thrush, bitch. Fucking thrush, bitch. I think that's the only bad thing about it. I don't think I've ever been bloated from any of it, but fuck the thrush, bro. The fucking thrush. And I feel like every girl feels that ever. But it's like, that's the most criminal thing. I've never saw it from like a gut health kind of like space. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it's like, the same thing of, I actually wrote this. So antibiotics are a short-term hit to your gut, but lifestyle is a long-term hit, right? So we're all being so caught up on what these antibiotics are doing right now in the moment. But like when, heaven forbid, we think about how we should strength train, so we have like longevity and strong bones when we're an old age. Like people as young as 30 now are getting osteoporosis because they aren't looking after their joints. They're not stretching. They're not doing any strength training. And I know a lot of like what I always talk about is like weight loss and aesthetics and whatever, being lean and toned. But also at the end of the day, you're building muscle so that you can support your bones through, you know, aging, through up till retirement, so you can run around after your grandkids, your kids. Like, I just think a lot of us have really got caught up in that rat race of never prioritizing us and listening to everyone else online. But let's actually just listen to the advice that we know works. Why does no one consider the fact that long term, eating like shit, having shit habits, we might develop diabetes, we might break our joints and bones a lot easier? Like, how many old people are having hip replacements quite young? When I say older people, like they're having them quite young though, because they haven't looked after their joints, they haven't looked after their bones, they've lost heaps of density in their bones because they haven't actually prioritized their strength training. And I see it now. I have clients as young as 30 saying, I have really sore knees from my weight on my knees and my like body can't handle my weight, so I actually need to lose some weight, but then I need to build up the strength in my quads. Very, very common. I see every single time I have someone on that tail end of their 20s, so like early 30s, or like transitioning in, like I have a couple girls about 29 now going into that new phase. They're really struggling with their knees are really, really sore and they don't have any quad strength. And I'm like, we need to be doing quad work. We're going to start like doing the single leg quad work. We're going to be really intentional with it and build it up. And every time we're doing it, they're like, fuck, my knees hurt. I'm like, because we don't have any muscle there. We actually need to build it up. And this is like, unfortunately, what it takes. You know, when you're doing goblet squats and your knees are fucking hurting, if you know, you know, it's because so much is going on with like, are our quads strong enough? Even lately I was looking at me and I was like, oh, I feel like my quads are kind of lacking now. My hamstrings look big, strong. The glutes are looking juicy, but I feel like the quads are lacking. So thinking of all of those things as well. At the end of the day, obviously, as I said, no GP. So just take them as prescribed, finish the course, don't skip days because TikTok told you to, and obviously just ask your GP. I feel like we're all really scared of asking our GP, and I know a lot of us have like shit ones where they're like Googling it and you're like, bitch, I Googled it already. But ask. just ask and figure it out from actual reputable sources rather than watching some wellness influencer on TikTok. But your best bet, anytime you're feeling under the weather, whether it's cold, whether it's infection and virus and all of the things, nourishing foods, whole grains, soups, yogurts, smoothies, having protein, having a fruit, having a veg, staying super hydrated, getting electrolytes in, because I just hit the mic, sorry. Our guts actually just thrive on having that diversity in our nutrition. Getting those whole foods, really prioritizing fiber, because your movement's going to be less as you're resting and recovering. So you're going to get trapped in that constipation cycle. Being on top of all of the things. I know that was a lot, but I just think at the end of the day, you don't need a $90 cleanse. You don't need a $90 greens powder for a gut cleanse and for your health. You actually just need like a banana and a consistent routine and a walk. Like, God forbid you just woke up and went for a walk in the morning. Like, your freaking greens powder is not going to fix all your problems. And it's like this. I feel like I'm just like, I'm dead. Anyway, we literally just want stability. Like, honestly, if I strip it all back, humans are so simple and basic. We just want stability. We need regular sleep routines. We need to stay hydrated. We need regular meals and structure in it. We can't thrive on chaos. Even if you're that type of person that leaves your assignment to the last minute and thinks that you're good at thriving on chaos, like, you're not. We need routine. If you had routine, ate regular meals at regular times and stuck to all of that, you would be a fuck ton less bloated. Anyway, that is all from me. Get out of the fear-mongering. Unfollow influencers who are saying mixed messaging and making you doubt things. All of the things. Stop overcomplicating your health. Honestly, I think that at the end of this, there was so much to take away from it. But if you just think I need one thing to take away, have structure in your day and eat the fucking rainbow. That is all from me. I will catch you in the next one. It was so fun catching up. Rate the podcast 5 stars, follow along, all of the things. I literally cannot believe that the audience is so heavily American at this point. I wonder if you're annoyed at my accent. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. That is all from me. I will catch you in the next one. Mwah. That's a wrap on another episode of Navigating Your 20s. Thank you so much for joining me and taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed the conversation, vibes, and got something out of today, please feel free to send me a DM with any key takeaways and feedback, or share on your socials and tag me so we can connect. If you liked today's episode and you're wanting more from me, you can find me on all socials at success.withjess.